Let's go back out, though, to Southern California as we are still tracking the latest out of Castaic here. This is the root fire. We're right now being joined, if we still have him, Doug Mummert, retired chief of the Phoenix Fire Department, now leads the Phoenix Fire Foundation. Doug, this is Andrew Kraft. Do you have us?
Good afternoon, Andrew. Yes.
Okay, Doug, we haven't spoken in some time, but this is quite the blaze that is happening in northern LA County, in Castaic right now. Snarling traffic. Traffic's being diverted in both directions on the I-5. But you are no stranger to having to battle blazes like this in this scorching heat. And this is what we're experiencing right now, especially in Southern California. They are seeing triple-digit temperatures going into the Labor Day holiday weekend. How are firefighters preparing with that knowledge that the heat is so intense?
Well, you have to prepare for these things way in advance. So we always teach our firefighters to pre-hydrate before they come to work, hydrate at work, and post-hydrate during and after the incident. So that's where you have to get it going. But we've had at least 2 firefighters treated so far for heat injuries on this fire. And so we have resources that would be out there helping the firefighters from the medical side of things. But we do have a severe problem there with the heat and the wind, and there are evacuation orders in place. So we are really up against it as firefighters in fires like this with this kind of heat that they're really not used to in Southern California. It's hotter than normal.
Oh, that's so right. So I believe you're watching along with us here at Live Now. And so you can see, and we've been seeing for the last 30 or 40 minutes, some of these, water drops, some of these fire retardant drops in order to prevent the spread of the fire. I'm not sure about wind conditions, and the Fox 11 chopper is now zooming out so we can get a better idea of how large this is, upwards of 250 acres. Thankfully, this is somewhat of a rural part of Los Angeles County, so there might not need to be many people to be evacuated. But how do fire officials kind of plan and order evacuations, especially when it's rural areas like this?
So in this situation, some of the structures threatened here are some of the mobile home areas in the area, and mobile homes are extremely flammable because they're usually made out of ordinary combustibles, and we do really have to try extra hard to protect those. But the way we reach out to those people is not only through the firefighters, but law enforcement agencies, and also what we fondly call reverse 911, which is a series of technology tools where we can target different people in the area via their landlines or their mobile phones and get the word out, and also through outlets like yours, through the emergency broadcast system, and let the residents know what's going on and set up shelters so they'll have someplace to go.
No, that's such good information. So, from someone who has, been around the block, who has fought a lot of these, especially brush fires, is every trajectory of them different? Is there kind of a rubric when you go in there, when the response has to be planned about, all right, what do we do? How do we prevent the spread of this? You got to look at a lot of different factors, right?
Sure. Although every structure fire in an urban area like Phoenix or Los Angeles for that matter, although structure fires are maybe sometimes more predictable as far as the actual structure goes, there's a lot of factors that factor into it as far as what the occupancy is, the time of day, the hazardous materials involved, whether or not it's a arson fire or an accidental fire, how long it was until it was discovered and reported, and things like that. With these wildfires, there's even more things to factor in, such as all those factors, in addition to topography. They're more dependent on what the weather, the wind, the dry factors, and things like that have to do on the fire, and also the time of day and all of those things. So there's many things to factor into that. And then again, what are our resources? Fortunately, in Los Angeles County, they have a lot of resources. The air ops are so huge on these wildfires because you can only get firefighters into so many areas in those more desolate and remote areas, like you said, more areas out in the country. So we really depend on those aerial resources to not only be able to do command and control, but to also do fire retardant and water drops, because firefighters can only do so much work, because the fire truck, they only have hoses that reach several hundred feet, and the firefighters can only carry so much equipment on their back. So you're really up against it when the conditions are against you in a case like this.
No doubt. I mean, these, and we've covered a lot of these brush fires here at Live Now, but this one seems to be, moving quite rapidly, and so hopefully we'll be hearing from Cal Fire officials maybe a little bit later on about some of their efforts. We're hopefully going to be in touch with some of our Fox 11 Los Angeles reporters to see how these extreme temperatures are really playing a part in the spread of this. And they're supposed to go throughout the Labor Day weekend here. Doug Mummer, last thoughts as we move on here. What are you going to be expecting in the next 15, 30, 45 minutes? Those are really the crucial moments where it's kind of make or break, is it not?
And fires, they double in size every few minutes depending on what type of fire you're talking about. So depending on what they can do with laying down the fire retardant and getting in front of the fire. And one of the things, our main priority is saving lives and preventing the loss of lives. And then our second priority is saving property and preventing property loss. So we take all those things into consideration when we're forming our incident action plan. And then we'll deploy the resources with those things in mind. And the sooner you can cut off a fire like this, 250 acres plus, that is a large fire, but as we've seen with these major wildfires, they can grow into the thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of acres. So we really want to hit it as hard as we can right in the beginning and try to start getting some containment on it.
Okay, Doug Mummer, as always, we appreciate your insight into the battles and how to extinguish these and how to contain these brush fires, and we will speak again. Thanks, Doug.
All right, thank you. Be safe.